Hello, friends. I receive a lot of inquiries about why is there suffering? Or why does life offer so many good things, yet with so many bad experiences mixed in? Sharing the absolute perspective of life as one whole, one being, dreaming billions of illusory separate entities who don't actually suffer or die because they are merely dream characters. I often get replies like, "Oh, you must have had a very shielded, trouble free life to be so carefree and serene about human suffering and maintaining such a lofty attitude." Not quite. Just recently, I almost died from a critical case of COVID and pneumonia. You can probably still hear the weakness in my voice. It appears this body mind will recover, and huge love and appreciation for all who sent me healing energy and well wishes during this time. Also, I noticed my friend Jeff Foster was holding a new course in his continuing satsangs on understanding suffering. There also seem to be more questions than ever about suffering and bad things happening to good people on Quora. So it seemed like a good time to offer a message about the true nature of suffering, starting with the true story of this apparent location of being, sometimes called Teja. As a child playing, I didn't think much about how my life might progress or what challenges might arise. My father's store provided a comfortable middle class lifestyle. Enough food, clothes, a home, a car, a few luxuries, while my mother capably raised 3 boys. We never used the word blessed, and we never assumed we were totally sheltered from the bad parts of life. But if asked, we would likely say we were well off, living in our suburban cocoon, away from the more dangerous inner city locales and the unstable, struggle-filled lives of those less fortunate. So I just dreamed my dreams, made my plans, and expected my life would unfold smoothly and in due course. Then the shit hit the fan. Beginning at age 5, I was having dissociative experiences which freaked out my parents, causing them to drag me to various doctors and psychologists. I would later discover that these were the natural, early expressions of awakening. But my traditional Western parents had no reference points for transcendental experience and could only include their middle child was different, perhaps mentally imbalanced. And school and society further enculturated these fears, turning what could have been a wondrous exploration and discovery for me into years of low self-esteem and worry that I was an odd, slightly deranged outcast. I lost interest in my studies and went from being an effortless, straight A student to a very distracted and mediocre loner. And this was only the beginning of the long slide away from our imagined safety and security into the awful and grim. The marginalizing and misdiagnosis of my opening to the vast crushed my confidence, interrupted my life plans, and made me withdraw. But the real turning point that let me know nothing would ever be as safe and secure as before was when my mother pulled me aside, her face wet with tears, to tell me my 13-year-old little brother had been diagnosed with leukemia. He was gone before his 14th birthday. And my parents never recovered emotionally. Soon after, my mother's sister passed from cancer, followed by her son. And in what seemed to be almost a sinister joke from a laughing God, coincidentally, my older brother had fallen in love with and married the main attending nurse for my little brother's leukemia. A little island of joy in that horrible episode. They had 2 beautiful boys, only to have one of them contract leukemia and die at 17. In short order, any delusions I had that life was supposed to progress seamlessly and according to plan, with minimal invasion or derailment by misfortune, affliction, tragedy, and struggles, were quickly dashed, along with all absurd beliefs about free will or personal control. And like any other dream character, convinced it's a separate self, I did exactly what you might expect. I ranted and railed at God, or stopped believing in a divine presence altogether, and disappeared for years down that endless rabbit hole called why? Why did this happen to us? Why do these tragedies and struggles need to happen at all to anyone? Why are we gifted these new, shining young lives and bodies brimming with promise, only to be given an insurmountable flood of obstacles, adversity, hardship, illness, and shattered dreams? What's your point, God? If we listen closely, we can hear something assumed in these bitter and bewildered questions. A presupposition, an expectation. The expectation that life shouldn't be this way, that it should be otherwise. The expectation that since the universe, or God, or being, or consciousness, whatever inadequate epithet you prefer, gave us life, they should be good lives, and an assumption that there must be a purpose. There must be a purpose. And the purpose must be to live life to its fullest, to find our individual calling, go after it, then reach success at it, and express and enjoy it to its fullest. That this whole other track of poverty, relational struggles, chronic or debilitating illness, violence, loss, and often death at an entirely too young an age, simply must be a mistake, a massive miscalculation, God's grand faux pas. Listening closely, we can hear this expectation, this presumption we bring to life. But why? From where did we get such an idea? From our parents? From successful friends whose lives seem to always go smoothly? Does it say in any of our scriptures or Bibles that this is the way life is supposed to go? As we begin to get more real and honest about these unsupportable expectations we bring to the party, Notice the most curious one, that life must have some purpose. Once again, says who? Says who? Many religions insist that there's a grand purpose to life. In the Western Bibles, the purpose has to do with pleasing God in your earthly life and then being rewarded in some kind of perfect afterlife or heaven. In the East, the purpose is either to transcend earthly life by attaining self-realization and moksha, liberation, or by gradually, very gradually, thousands of lifetimes, working through all your karma till you are a bodhisattva or dwell in permanent nibbana. Of course, those scriptures were all written and compiled by dream characters just like us, who still think we are separate selves, separate from being, that need to do something, disciplines and practices and paths, and get somewhere we are not already. Some kind of rejoining with being from which we were never separate. What if the purpose of life is simply life? That this is it. What if there's no other purpose than for life to unfold, for no reason, happening to no one, exactly as it is? What if pain, challenges, sickness, death, at any age, is inevitable, but suffering is only caused by our false expectation, false assumption of a purpose, and this ludicrous, unsupportable expectation that things should go otherwise? What if life is not a span of time God provides to all these separate entities for living out their own joys and dreams? But God is life, and life is God. What if the very nature of the universe, the fullness of life, is to express and experience all these attributes, the ups and downs, the joys and sorrows, the love and hate, the creation and destruction, not just the good parts, and not within time or within a desired age? What if there's only one thing, an incomprehensible non-entity that is simply awareness or consciousness itself, and that one thing is both the apparent projector and everything in the projection, everything in life, the dreamer and the dreamed? God isn't the separate bestower of life. God is life. No separation, no subject and object, no cause and effect, no events and separate beings they're happening to. The experiencer and the experience are one. This everything, this fullness, this isness. What if there's only being dreaming all this, and we are its dream characters, appearing in being to have our own ups and downs in lives, insisting we have our own individual or collective purpose. But actually, there's only being, only lifing, for no reason, to no one. And this is exactly how it looks. How your life looks, how your life looks, whether you are in ease or pain, whether you are solvent or poor, whether you've had significant loss of friends, parents, even your own children, whether you are flourishing at the age of 99 or dying from an incurable illness at pre-20. It's just one whole. All of life, lifing. There's no reason, no purpose, just what is. Your ego mind won't want to hear this and will vehemently disagree. But that's how it is. That's what this is. Just what is. Just a dream unfolding, and every character, just like the illusory characters in your night dreams, is just the one being disguising itself as you to experience all of it. All of it. Excluding nothing. There's a place where you discover that there is only the whole, the one life, the apparent movement of the one thing. No individuals to which good or bad things are happening. There's a place where you discover that all there is being. And there's a place where you discover that all of this is being, life. And there's a place beyond where you discover that all there really is love. Not even being. No entity. No personage. No this. Only love.